All right, now our speaker for today is Reverend Joyce Zorger, somebody who we know that is filled always with joy, Joyce. So go ahead, Joyce, take it away.
Okay, hi everybody. I had to leave the scene for just a few moments to quiet my puppies. My puppies are now over 3 years old, but I had to put them in the garage because when they were outside this morning, they were racing all around. They're still puppies and they just like to chase each other and they have fun doing that. And that's a good exercise for them too. But I love the songs that Jan and Nina sang this morning, the gathering of spirits. And I think of us here at our unity community as a gathering of spirits. And I truly look forward to getting together each Sunday with you. I feel so blessed to have this community that we can reach out to each other and keep each other in prayer throughout the week and respond to the prayer requests that are put through by our chief practitioner, LaDawn. So this morning my talk is called "Allow Joy to Be," and I think about other talks that I've done, and one of them was a talk I did years ago. It was called "Awakening to Joy: The Choice is Ours." And I like my name because Joyce with a choice. I refer to myself that way. And we always have choice in our lives. We have to remember that whatever is happening, the choice is ours. But this title today is "Allow Joy to Be," and I added "It's up to you and me," because this is it's important that we realize that, as Peggy was reading about the differences between happiness and joy, I think that happiness is more of an outer responding to an outer circumstance, and and it's transitory. Whereas joy is like to me, I see it as an attribute of God, just as beauty and as peace and as love. Those are as well attributes of God. And I believe that when I encompass, when I really feel that love, then that creates the joy within me. And when I really feel peace, then I feel joy as well. And when I see and witness the beauty all around me, within people, within the environment, within nature, that to me creates the joy within me. And it's kind of, to me, it's an inner conviction. It's a power that resides in us, just as the power that Christ's presence resides in us, and that it is up to us to allow that to come forth. We can do that. I like the words that Jesus spoke. He said, uh, "Joy is an inner quality, divine in nature." And he also said, "I have said these things to you so that my joy may be in you and that our joy may be complete." So to me, when I feel the closest to the spirit within me, that Christ presence within me, and we all are that individualized expression of that one life that is God expressing in each one of us. And when I feel that deeply, that's when I feel that essence of joy that just comes flooding up into my thinking and changes any negative thoughts that I might have into more to let those negative thoughts go. And they don't serve me, and I know that, and I know that you know that as well. That when we have thoughts that are pulling us down, pulling us into a place that creates sadness, uh, and we recognize that, and we can focus on within, go within, and ask for a change in our thinking. And I love some of the words that Wayne Dyer, he said that when you look at something, I have it written down here, and I like to read this to you because these words are important to me. And he talks about when I'm getting a little further ahead in my talk here, but I love the words that Wayne Dyer had said, that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I have found that to be true. I get to me, there are things that for each one of us happen throughout our day. And, as I am getting older, I recognize that there are a lot of things on Feather Ranch that I can't do as well as I used to. And perhaps I don't have the energy or the strength to lift a 50-pound bag of horse food or whatever, because when I did that the last time, I pulled a tendon in my arm. So I have to be careful and be gentle with myself and tender with my heart and move through my days with grace and ease, and not feel that, not expect that that life is always going to be the same. I think that for me, change has always been really hard for me to accept. But I realize now that, and I have realized this for a long time, and I have to keep reminding myself that my resistance to change is what creates the suffering within my mind. And so I work on that. I work on that daily, not to resist change, because change is inevitable. I have to know that, and it's all around us. Nature is an example of that. I I like to think of joy as this attribute of God, just that I am. I think of the words, the Christ presence within me is that I am, in capital letters. Um, I like the saying that I read recently. It's only in the infinite is there joy. Ask to know the infinite. And that, as we journey through our life, as is in our human experience, for me, I feel that my one goal each day is to ask to know the infinite, to know and to express that peace, that love, that joy, that peace, joy, and love. And I say that to myself daily. Let this abide within me, the peace, the joy, the love. It is that power that is within me. I think that one of the things we need to realize, I need to realize, that when I feel the negative thoughts coming into my mind, this is time for me to focus on the good that I have in my life, that the things that I can see all around me, that I can feel, and where my journey in life has been to come to this place of a greater knowing and acceptance, and to deal with change with with an open heart. And I think that joy is that open heart that we allow ourselves to have, to take in the love, the joy, the beauty, and in all the ways that we can. Listening to music, going into a place where we can. I like going down to the beach, seeing the waves rolling in. I like walking under the oak trees here. I like caring for my animals. I think that they have given me a lot of joy, just uh, going out and grooming my horses, playing with my dogs, taking them for walks. They're finally beginning to show some maturity, and they don't run off, but I still can't take them out together, because then they get pretty naughty. But this is what I wrote. I invite you to go to that secret place of the Most High, and to know with me that secret place is not a location, but a state of mind. It's not a location, but a state of mind. And the state of mind is knowing that God is, I am, and all is well. God is, I am, and all is well. And that's what I say to myself whenever I get into a place that is less than joyful. Um, I like that what I had read. It says that the joy is the fiber of our souls. It's the stuff of our essence. Our soul can never be annihilated. Our souls are eternal and omnipresent. And recently I heard this expression that a body doesn't have a soul has a body. I like that. A body doesn't have a soul has a body. And I believe that when the body no longer serves the soul, that's when we are able to release and let go and just be that consciousness, and the just release and let go, and just know that life is eternal and the soul is eternal. I do believe that. I remember years ago, I did a Michael Beckwith visioning, and I went to that secret place of the Most High, and I asked for words to guide me through my life. And the two words that came to me was release and allow. And I've shared this with you before. I've played with those words, release and allow. And I switched them around, allow, release. And most of the time I like that, allow, release, allow the joy and release the negativity. And that's, I guess it really depends on whatever circumstance I find myself in. Our access to joy never vanishes because it is foundational to our true being. As I said, an attribute of God, just as love, peace, beauty are attributes of God. I have a book called, it's by M.J. Ryan. It's called Attitudes of Gratitude and How to Give and Receive Joy Every Day of Your Life. And this, the author of this book, she expresses that she was experiencing a joyless existence, and she was determined to awaken to more joy in her life. And she came to believe that joy and gratitude are inseparable. And I find that to be true too. I said that joy and gratitude are inseparable, because when I am feeling less than, I think of the things in my life that I'm grateful for. And that, to me, instills that sense of joy and helps me to go through my days. In the dictionary, it says that joy is defined as an emotion evoked by well-being. And whenever we are appreciative, we are filled by a sense of well-being, and we awaken to joy. And I know that it's up to us. It's up to me. It's up to you to get to that place of awakening, allowing. It's always there. It is that attribute of God. It's always there. And it's up to us to reach within and find that, allow it to be, and expand on that. In the New Thought philosophy, we are reminded we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We've all heard that before. And sometimes that human experience can be pretty messy. Times like this is when we remember we are created with that free will and choice, and it's really up to us to decide. And again, if a situation cannot be changed, we can change the way we look at that situation. And I love, again, the words of Wayne Dyer: if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I would like to, there's an example of exactly that. I'd like to read that to you now. It's a beautiful example of how looking at things in a different way can change the things that is being looked at. I'll read that to you now. This is this was something I may have read to you before years ago. I have a file of all my talks, and sometimes I go into it and pull out some things. And I found this in one of my files on joy and on changing the way you look at things. And this is perfect for this example. This is: a famous writer was in his study. He picked up his pen and began writing. Last year, my gallbladder was removed. I was stuck in bed due to this surgery for a long time. The same year, I reached the age of 60 and had to give up my favorite job. I had spent 30 years of my life with this publishing company. The same year, I experienced the death of my father. In the same year, my son failed in his medical exam because he had a car accident. He had to stay in the hospital with a cast on his leg for several days, and the destruction of the car was a second loss. His concluding statement: alas, this was such a bad year. When the writer's wife entered the room, she found her husband looking dejected and sad and lost in his thoughts. She carefully and surreptitiously, always have trouble with that word, surreptitiously read what he had written and silently left the room, and came back shortly with another piece of paper on which she had written her summary of the year's events and placed it beside her husband's paper. When her husband saw that she had written something in response, he read her take on the year's events. Last year, I finally got rid of my gallbladder, which had given me many years of pain. I turned 60 with sound health and retired from my job. Now I can utilize my time to write better and with more focus and peace. The same year, my father, at the age of 95, without depending on anyone and without any critical conditions, met his creator. The same year, God blessed my son with life. My car was destroyed, but my son was alive and without permanent disability. At the end, she wrote, "This year was an immense blessing and it passed well." The same incidents, but different viewpoints. The moral is, in daily lives, we must see that it's not happiness or joy that makes us grateful, but gratefulness that makes us happy and joy filled. And that's when we awaken to joy, when we realize these a change in attitude, a change in perception. There's always, always, always something to be thankful for. And attitude is the one thing over which we can have control in every circumstance. So that we live, I like how, at my age, which is 83, and I'm proud to say I'm feeling very grateful that I have been able to live this long and enjoy this life, the ups and downs and the roller coaster ride of life as we've all experienced. And I am grateful to look back. It says, live so that your memories will be part of your joy. And that's true. And, I have some wonderful memories, and I have to look back on those and realize the joy those memories gave me. And sometimes I remember I had a women's spirit retreat here. I've done several of them here at Feather Ranch. And one of my favorite ones was when I gathered beads from various bead stores and places, and even from some beads that I was given when I was a young girl of my mother's, and I took them apart and added them to the bead collection. And this activity was creating joy beads, creating a joy rosary. And so I asked the participants in the women's retreat that we had here. I said, think of memories that bring you joy, and you can choose 7 beads and then declare each bead what that bead represented. And I still have my beads. Yeah, I think I have them here on my desk. Well, there they are. I put them here. This is my joy rosary, and I have 7 beads that I've chosen and created this, and each one is representative of something in my life that gives me joy or has given me joy. And actually, the very first bead is a crystal bead, and it reminds me. And when I touch this bead is spirit. It is that Christ presence within me, and this is the bead that gives me great comfort in knowing that it's just a part of my life. It's something that I have depended on all my life to have a spiritual practice that gets me through each day. And I am very grateful for that. And that no matter how I feel during the day, if I can go to that place of gratitude, that brings me to a different perspective. And I think that for each of us, I think how this is so important. It's so important to me. And I so appreciate all the experiences that I've had in my life, in my 83 years of living. And I know that life continues on, and life is eternal. And I really, truly believe that. And when this body is no longer able to serve me, that it's just, if it no longer serves my soul, it's time for my soul to release and go on and into that eternal place of consciousness, that beautiful consciousness that I know that when I meditate, I can find that place. It's a time that I can just let go and allow the presence of God to infuse my life and give me that joy that I need to get through my days. So I'm totally off now. I know that, not really off, but I had list of things that I wanted to say. And I think that one of the things that helps me is a journal that I received long ago. It's a Joyous Freedom Journal, and I write things in it. And the one entry that the last time I wrote in it, well, recently I wrote because it was talking about joy, and the topic is opening your heart to joy. And this is what this journal, I think I put it here. No, it's over on another place. But anyway, this is what I found on that particular page. It says, open-heartedness is necessary for joy to flow. Joy is a feeling of aliveness and expansion. When I think of that aliveness, I think of last Sunday when Melissa Christ, she spoke, and she was just so full of joy and knowing the God presence within her and the God presence in all of us as we are in the congregation here, and just seeing God in everyone. And I felt that joy that was outflowing from her. That was just so apparent. So I'll go back to what I had read in this Joyous Freedom book. I really recommend it. It's such a good source because it has words, and then it has a place where you can respond. And I'll read you what my response was as well. Open-heartedness is necessary for joy to flow. Joy is a feeling of aliveness and expansion. Joy bubbles out when you are personally fulfilled or when you celebrate fulfillment in someone else's life. And I think that's important too. I think that we connect, our souls connect with those in our life, and we celebrate with them, and we feel joyful for their experiences as well. It is almost impossible to experience joy if you're feeling anxious, envious, or resentful. Resentment, judgment, lack of forgiveness, hurt, pettiness, gossip, and comparison are states that obstruct you from joy. And I love, there's a saying that I remember, that when I compare myself to others, I become either very vain or very jealous. So I try not to do that. It's so easy to look at what someone else is doing or what someone else is saying or their presentation and think, well, I'm much better than that, or I wished I could be better, white, and then feel that sense of jealousy around that. So I think that that pettiness and that gossip and comparison, that doesn't serve us well. I continue on. Turning yourself around with positive, expansive thoughts and feelings will open your heart and release more of your joy. And then it asked me to journal about where I could be more open-hearted. And this is what I wrote. I'm going to take a sip of water. This is what I wrote. Continue to allow nature to open my heart. Release thoughts of worry. Worry is negative prayer. And if there's nothing else from this reading, remember that worry is that like negative prayer. When we feel ourselves waking up in the middle of the night with worry, replace those thoughts, breathing and conscious breathing and saying a prayer. That I love to say the Serenity Prayer at those times, or say the Lord's Prayer, or some of the prayers that from Ernest Holmes. It says, focus on what, this is for me, I wrote, focus on what I am grateful for. Great gratitude opens my heart. Don't react to the distorted thinking, John's and my own. John's beliefs are not mine. I create my own happiness, my own joy by the way or by what I choose to think. Each day creates new possibilities for joy if I allow it. If it's to be, it's up to me. So somewhere else I wrote, let me never be afraid of endings or beginnings. Teach me to embrace all of life with joy. My mom, when I was born, she named me, she had two boys first in her marriage, and she had Richard and Robert. And when she had me as her first girl, her first daughter, she was so filled with joy that she named me Joyce. And so I always had felt that, and I love that story. It helps me to feel joy about myself as well. So in closing, I'm going to close now because my voice, I find my voice is kind of a little, I even had some honey before I started talking today. And yesterday I was straining my voice, calling in my dog, my puppies, one at a time. And I have to go back to using my e-collar on them this morning because I didn't want that to happen again this morning because we have 45 acres here and there's all kinds of things that they can explore and run. And yesterday, Toby spotted a deer and he took after the deer and I didn't know when he was going to come back. So please excuse me because my voice is just not quite the same today, but I am here and I am in full of joy just being able to reach out to each one of you because this gives me much joy. So I'd like to read this closing affirmation on joy by Ernest Holmes. And just take this into your heart, open your heart and take these words in. I am the spirit of joy within me. Everything necessary for the full and complete expression of the most boundless experience of joy is mine now, and it is yours now. That makes me feel joyful just reading that. So I invite you to claim this as the truth, and as we connect with the power of that Christ presence within, that connect with that power, the Christ presence, that is the most joyful outflowing of gratitude and appreciation. So may you do that, and may you just love yourself and love your life and live it to the fullest. And God bless you, each one of you. And that is the end of my message this morning. So have joy for the rest of your life. God bless. Thank you.